Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today we're going to go into different cigar batches. But first, let's announce a giveaway winner. All right, so this is going to be for the, I forgot to take the sound off, the top 4 video I did. And Travis Morita 2236, you've been around for a while. I don't think you've won before, so make sure you email me. It's in the description. Top 4, we gotta discuss on which one your 4th sample is. All right, so today we're gonna go over 4 different cigar batches. Just start with one ever. So this is the short barrel cigar batch number 2. It's a blend of straight whiskeys finished in Armagnac, Cognac, rum, and tawny port cask. And it's 117 proof. This literally tells you the actual breakout of it. So it says 9.9 year Kentucky American whiskey finish in Cognac cask for 2.9 years. 9.9 year American whiskey finish in rum cask for 2.9 years. 6.5 year in bourbon, Indiana. Okay, so the first 2 were Kentucky American whiskey. 6.5 year Indiana bourbon whiskey, finished in Armagnac cask for 2.2 year. And 6.5 year Indiana bourbon whiskey, finished in tawny port cask for 2.2 years. So they kept a lot of the stuff the same. They're still in Kentucky and Indiana. So that's the bottle. That's the side I just read off to you guys. So we shall see how this stacks up against these other ones. So we got this Crittenden's Cut Above Mississippi Sipper Stogie Batch, a blend of bourbon whiskeys finished in Cognac, Armagnac, Port, Añejo Tequila, apple brandy, maple syrup, and Lafroig Scotch barrels. 113.25 proof, 5 years. This is batch 2. Stogie batch 2 starts by using barrels that we held back from Stogie batch 1, paying homage to the Solera method of aging. They add bourbon that had been aged in American apple brandy barrels, Cognac barrels from France, maple syrup barrels from the Northeast USA, some special grooved barrels that have been aging bourbon whiskey at Crittenden Distillery for over 7 years. This bourbon is a, nope, I don't want to see if it says any notes. Actually just says, as I read the rest of the sentence. This bourbon is a dry, complex strand that pairs perfectly with cigars or pipes. 1 of 1,600 bottles. So, doesn't seem like a huge release of this, but that's the front and the back of that. So, that's that. We got the Art of the Spirit, which, you know, always cool labels. And this is a blend of straight whiskeys finished in Tokahi, rum, tawny port, and Madeira, bourbon and rye, bourbon X rye, I guess that's right, and 122 proof. Let's see, that's the notes. Let me not read that. It just says the bourbon and rye. But so that's that. Cool label. Show you the back. I'll even show you guys the side so you can see the notes I'm supposed to be getting. All right, and then we have the Penelope cigar. Well, what's it called? It's Penelope Cigar Sessions. That's right. So, and this is a blend of straight bourbon, 100% American single malt, and American light whiskey. And that's what that is. And I know they partnered up with some actual cigar makers for this. And I don't think it actually says this on the bottling words, but it's supposed to be paired with a medium body cigar, like a Padron or something like that. Melanio, that would be a good cigar with this bottle. But Trenton from SLB, when they review this, on that video, he said like, oh, I wish Carlos Garcia would do this. So,
but I could see exactly why this would be something that you would want to pair with a cigar. What I would like to see is Carlos Garcia.
Yeah.
Because he's a big cigar guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
try this one out.
Carlos has his own channel too, his own YouTube channel. What a wonderful guy. Very, very giving.
We'll link it in the description.
Yeah.
He gives us a lot for the Riley's Children's Hospital charity event. He gave us the Pappy 15 last year and a Michter's 10-year. Very generous guy.
An incredible fella, honest to God. His channel is just basically his name, Carlos Garcia.
I'm finally doing it because I finally got it. So obviously the bottle's like halfway gone already. It was all these bottles were my Whiskey Cigar Club, so I've already tried all of them. So we'll see how they go up against each other blind. Okay, I don't think I told you the proof on the Penelope when I was putting it away. I thought about it. It's 101. So that's that. So let's get into the nosing. Glass A. Okay, I got a lot on that nose. Peanut butter, oak, chocolate, raspberry jam, maple syrup, and earthiness. Very interesting nose. One of the most complex noses probably I've had in a while. Okay, let's go to B. All right, also very interesting nose. Coffee right away. Dark chocolate, tea, black sugar. Black sugar. I can't even read. Brown sugar, sorry. Yeah, it's got a strong coffee note in the front. Interesting. Okay, let's go to C. C, so I cut out a lot of like me just nosing. That took forever, and I only wrote one thing, dark fruit. And it's not even because it's a lot of dark fruit. I don't know what's happening in this glass. It just seems like everything is fighting each other and nothing's like coming out of the glass for me to identify anything. But there is a little bit of dark fruit. Yeah, very strange. Where the other ones I'm getting a lot of stuff, this one, like nothing. I'm definitely smelling something, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sure it's one of the, well, they all have so much stuff going on. Maybe it's just not well balanced, put together or whatever, but we'll see. Hopefully the palate's better. Okay, this one's the most rye forward. Besides a little bit of rye that I'm getting, some earthiness and some herbal notes. Not herbal. I'm learning English on this channel for myself. All right, so that's a nosing. So let's get into the palate. Oh, this nose is nuts. All right, first sip of the day, so we'll see how if it changes any. But it was grainy, malty, vanilla, dark fruit, some peanut shells on the finish. Not a very long finish, but again, first sip, so we'll see. The palate isn't my favorite. But the finish, so this time I got the chocolate cherry, like liqueur candies, like the Lindor candies, which one of my favorite finishes that I get. But the palate is a combination of maltiness and graininess that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's almost like a young scotch without the smoke, which some of you guys don't like to smoke, but I like to smoke. Not a very long finish. Same notes, and no one ever calls me out in the comments that I'm guessing my bottles. So I'm gonna try to guess. I'm pretty sure this has to be the Penelope just because of the so much maltiness in it, and that's the only one that has malt in it, like as one of the main ingredients. So if that is the Penelope, that's kind of sad. But what I do plan on doing is, this is like the first step of judging them without smoking a cigar. And then what I want to do is grab a bunch of my favorite ones. Now, this isn't going to be my favorite one, but I'll do it probably anyways, is smoke a cigar with them and kind of see if the cigar improves it or if it improves the cigar and stuff like that. So eventually I'll get to that point. So let's get to B. All right. Well, that was interesting. Very interesting note. So it was a lot of dark fruit, a lot of raisin, and then this cherry lollipop that you get at the bank. At least it brought me right to that cherry lollipop from like the bank when I was a kid. And then a bright cherry, crazy. On the finish, coffee, cola, dark fruit, oak, tea. That's very, very interesting. And that was the first sip, so let's go a second sip. Some chocolate and fish, nothing new on the palate. It is a dark fruit bomb, which For me, usually I do get a lot of dark fruit on like a wine finish stuff, and 3 of these have wine finishes in it, so I'm sure I'll say dark fruit a lot today. The raisin note on this reminds me of, so I was at my buddy Gabe's house yesterday, day before, and he brought out a Macallan, I don't know if it had, maybe 18, I forgot the age, if it had an age on it, but it was like the rare cast one. I think it was PX Sherry possibly, I forget now. But it was super, super raisin forward, to the point it was almost too much. But this is very raisin forward too. All right, nothing new. This definitely reminds me more of like the Joseph Magnus cigar blend direction. Not like the first one. The first one was definitely unique experience. Oh, I wonder if I get something new on the nose on C. Nope, so weird. I'm trying, C, I'm trying. That was interesting. Okay, so C on the palate, dark fruit again. Not as intense as glass B. There was a lot more of like this wood note, not necessarily like oak, I don't know. And a very herbal note. The finish, green tea, herbal again, some sweetness, and that wet oak that I'm not the biggest fan of. It wasn't too strong, but it was definitely there. I'm not the biggest fan of C either. Oh, Lord. Try this again. Yeah, I'm not liking this that much. It's a grassy note on the finish now. There is some good sweetness there though. Try one more time. Definitely some spice on the finish there too. All right, let's go to D. All right, so on the first sip, a lot of banana up front, some rye, some vanilla, oak, baking spice. On the finish, dark fruit, and some apple. Apples. Pretty good. Nothing wrong about it. Second sip. Got some strawberries on the finish this time. A lot of fruits. A lot of fruits in glass D. Some cinnamon on the finish this time. A lot of cinnamon. Like cinnamon apples. Good. All right, so I'm gonna drink some water. I'll step away for 2 seconds. Come back. I'll A-B these against each other. The only outlier really is glass A. The other ones are similar, which if A is the Penelope, that kind of makes sense based off of what's inside these bottles. So I'll come back with some scores and be right back. All right, I'm back, and I don't know what I've learned today. I did score them, and I did get some new notes, but first let's do the giveaway. So if you want to win, or if you want to enter to win 2-ounce samples of all 4 of these, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with the hashtag cigar. Easy. Easy peasy. All right, so let's go right into my last place, which is the Crittenden's Cut Above Stogie Batch. Unfortunately, I scored a 2.5. No new notes. It was just... Oh, actually, that's the one I never got anything on the nose. I wrote brown sugar on the nose this time. But anyways, it's too herbal and grassy versus the other ones for it to do that well. Overall, it's not terrible, but it's below average for me. So then we go into third place. So that's the Penelope American Whiskey Cigar Sessions. And I think if you don't like Scotch, I don't think you're going to like this bottle because it is malty. I did get a little slight banana on the palate. I do like Scotches, so for me, it's decent. To me, it tastes like a cheaper Scotch and grainy. So there's some good things about it, but you know, it's right there. It's average. It's right there in the middle. Okay, so then it came down to the short barrel and the Art of the Spirit. And the winner was the short barrel. And the only thing new I wrote about it was it drinks much lower than its proof. Now, I didn't know the proof, but knowing that the proofs of the lineup, it was drinking very like easy. And what I did write about the Art of the Spirit was, oh, I actually didn't write it, but I know because I remember it. So I scored a 3.25, but this drinks hotter than the 122 proof. And I think it's because the rye's in there and the rye spice with the additional, because this is only 5 proof more than a short barrel, and they drink like 30 proof different. And I think that's why I like the short barrel better. It just drank much easier. And this one was still very good, but definitely that proof and spice were, you felt it on the tongue. So that's these 4. My next video, because I'm going to do it right after this one, is going to be another cigar video on the copper and cast one. So a lot of cigar videos, and then eventually I'm going to smoke cigars with all these. So stay tuned for all that. I do have Whiskey Cigar Club this coming up Sunday. You guys will see this on Friday, so Sunday. And so I'll have another top 4 video, which will be coming out. And there's a lot of crazy bottles, nice allocated type bottles going to be in our lineup. So we'll see what the 4 bottles win. So it'll be another video on that. So don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.